Welcome to all our World BioEconomy Forum followers from all over the world. Today, we are excited to bring you an interview with Dr. Georgia Lagoudas, who talks to us from the White House about the US's latest big, bold move to embrace the bioeconomy. The latest executive order from the US government clearly demonstrates the importance of the bioeconomy, which is now high on the list of top priorities for the country. Dr. Georgia Lagoudas, welcome and great to have you with us.
Very excited to be here today, Mark. So glad to talk with you.
Fantastic. So first of all, can you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what role you have in the bioeconomy in the US?
Of course. So as you mentioned, I'm sitting at the White House. I am a senior advisor for biotechnology and bioeconomy at the Office of Science and Technology Policy, which is one of multiple offices within the White House. And I sit on the Health and Life Sciences team, which is actually the first ever Health and Life Sciences team within this Office of Science and Tech Policy. And I come here with a background, a PhD in bioengineering, and I'm really excited to be connecting both, this background in science with the policy initiatives we're helping lead here at the White House.
Okay, fantastic. Well, great to have you with us. So the US has taken bold steps towards the bioeconomy. We've heard your latest announcement on the executive order on biotechnology and biomanufacturing. Could you elaborate what the main motivation is for this and why the bioeconomy has been raised to such an important level in the US?
Of course. First, this is a very exciting moment. We're thrilled to have released the executive order. This has been many years in the works from many people across the federal government and outside of the federal government. And I think we all recognize we are at the cusp of a revolution powered by biotechnology. We conceptualize and think about how you can have living factories like cells and biomass, and you can use this to produce almost anything that we would use in our day-to-day lives, from medicines to fuels to plastics. And the U.S. has such a strong base of biotech innovation. We want to drive that into economic and societal success. So over the past few years, we recognize that the COVID pandemic has shown the really important role of biotech and biomanufacturing in producing some of these life-saving vaccines and diagnostics and therapeutics. And we understand the power of biotech. It's most vivid at this moment in the context of human health, but biotechnology and biomanufacturing can be used to achieve climate and energy goals, improve food security and sustainability, secure and improve resiliency of supply chains in the US and across the world, and grow the economy. So really, this is a pivotal moment of recognizing the power of biotechnology and that more can be done with leadership at the US government level. And these all align, taking action on the bioeconomy align with top priorities for President Biden. Some of the top priorities include tackling the COVID crisis, tackling the climate crisis, addressing racial equity, improving the economy, improving healthcare. These are all among President Biden's top priorities. And launching this biotechnology and biomanufacturing initiative can support all of those. So for us, it's an exciting moment of aligning with the priorities. And then the other part is, we recognize, and I recognize speaking to an international audience, that in the first month, President Biden promised to stand shoulder to shoulder with partners and allies on critical issues. And part of the executive order that was released in September directs a very robust international strategy to advance the bioeconomy. So we're also really excited to partner with the international community, recognizing that more can be done with us engaging with partners from across the world.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love your enthusiasm. You're really absolutely full of enthusiasm, which is just what we like at the World BioEconomy Forum. Brilliant. In your Biotechnology and Biomanufacturing Summit, which was held in September, you explained that the bioeconomy value could reach up to 30 trillion US dollars by 2030. That's actually not that far away. So what are the major measures and steps that you're taking to achieve that level?
Great question, Mark. We recognize the potential is large, and time is not that far away, as you mentioned. Well, the first thing I'll say is the executive order. We have a set of many activities that are across different sectors from growing the domestic biomanufacturing capacity to expanding the workforce. So we're really looking at about this holistically. So all of the pieces to contribute to a growing bioeconomy. Additionally, with the summit, we announced a number of federal investments, over $2 billion of federal investments from the United States in the bioeconomy. So this is kind of an immediate flood of funds to help spur some immediate growth. One of them, the Department of Defense announced investing $1 billion over 5 years to catalyze the establishment of a U.S. bioindustrial manufacturing base. And part of this is supporting incentives for public and private partners to expand capacity and really identifying how to catalyze the growth of, scaling up production. So we're really excited for that investment to support in the United States the growth of the biomanufacturing capacity. And another example of an investment is from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, invested $500 million through a new grant program recently to support sustainable American fertilizer production and really expand the ability of American farmers to have advances in biotechnology in the work that they do. There are additional investments from the Department of Energy, the National Institutes of Health, the National Science Foundation, and others. So we see this as a first moment. Last month was the first moment of us taking the first steps in the U.S. government investments, and we recognize that this will be a multi-year process of trying to catalyze growth, not only from investments within the U.S. government, but catalyze growth outside of the government and in the private sector and academia. So we're really excited to help support that.
Mm. Yeah, the bioeconomy is very broad and long and wide. It's absolutely huge. So you've got a lot of work ahead by the look of it. So what are the immediate steps is the US taking towards the bioeconomy sector? What sort of things are you doing already?
Yes, I want to actually maybe take a moment here to address that, because what you just said, the bioeconomy is large and diverse and has many important components of it. I want to highlight that the U.S. government is approaching this in a very collaborative way. So it is a tripartite. There are a group of 3 offices within the White House that are leading the initiative, the National Biotechnology and Biomanufacturing Initiative. And that is the office that I sit in, Office of Science and Technology Policy. Additionally, I work with Dr. Michelle Rozo, who is at the National Security Council. And additionally, we work with Monica Gorman, who is at the National Economic Council. So I just want to identify, we see this as supporting the scientific base and how, what are some research and development needs we have and spurring growth in the science and tech space. How does this support? And we think about national security as well as collaborating with international partners, and the economic piece is really important. So one immediate step is bringing partners together to grow the base of who is working on and addressing the growth of the the bioeconomy. So under that umbrella, which I think, we are thrilled to be collaborating on this topic together. A few immediate steps, and these are all outlined in the executive order. So we are taking action now on executing the pieces that we've outlined last month that President Biden released on September 12th. One is growing the biomanufacturing capacity in the United States, and really outlining a plan for expanding facilities and production facilities in the United States. We're also expanding market opportunities for bio-based products. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has a program called the Bio-Preferred Program, which is a standard for sustainable procurement by government agencies. And it essentially allows for government agencies to have an alternative to petroleum-based products that they can buy, and bring in more bio-based products. So the executive order, we are taking actions to spur the growth of that program. A third area is driving research and development to solve some of our greatest challenges. So we are helping lead an initiative addressing 5 key areas of how biotechnology can spur new advances and success in health, in climate and energy, in food and agriculture, in supply chain resilience, and in basic cross-cutting science. So we're mapping out, creating a research and development roadmap for each of those areas. We're also thinking about databases and access to data and sharing of data and data gaps. So really improving access to biological databases and thinking about this in the international setting. How do we share data more appropriately and also in a safe and secure way with partners? We're also taking steps to train a diverse and skilled workforce. We think it's really important that all Americans can have access to entering this pipeline of good paying jobs that can be in the biotechnology and biomanufacturing sector. And frankly, we know of many companies that say we have a gap in the workforce, and the US wants to help support filling that biotechnology workforce. And then I'll give two more examples. One is about really supporting streamlining regulations for products of biotechnology. We think that's really important in the United States to support a robust ecosystem of bringing products to market. And advances in biotech change really rapidly, as all of us are aware. And so we want to make sure that we have an agile and robust regulatory process to support companies bringing products to market. And then I will also highlight that something we're working on now is the Department of State is leading an international engagement plan, the development of an international engagement plan to help advance what can be partnerships with partners and allies across the world, and think about expanding a variety of collaborations in that space. So those are a few examples. There's a few more outlined in the executive order. So we are staying busy here, but really we're trying to take some of the first steps in a lot of these processes, and then catalyze action from others across the world, we hope.
Sure. Fantastic. It's so good that you're speaking the same language as us at the World BioEconomy Forum. You're using all maybe slightly different terms, but actually exactly the same thing, which is encouraging, people to buy products, bioproducts as opposed to petroleum based, or we say fossil fuel based. But that's so good to know. On the international collaboration front, do you think that there's time for an international home or a hub for the bioeconomy?
That's a good question, Mark. I think your organization has been bringing together leaders from across the globe on this topic, and I think that's vitally important. And the United States wants to continue to participate more in those venues and forums. And I think this is a moment to discuss what could a global home look like, and what are opportunities that we do need to support and engage and discuss on. I think we are very committed to supporting international scientific cooperation. In particular, we think about this a lot from the Office of Science and Technology Policy, and how do we support scientific cooperation that flows from shared values, shared principles, responsible scientific research, openness, transparency, equity. These are all values that are really important to us and to the current administration. So we want to make sure that those are addressed in forums. We'd love to work with you and brainstorm and identify what might be an opportunity to support a global home, and what might be an important set of items on the agenda of what that global home can tackle.
Sure. Fantastic. Well, we'd love to hold our forum in the US at some point. That would be absolutely brilliant. Maybe that can happen in the near future.
We'd love to chat more about that and see what opportunities exist, Mark.
Yeah. So, Georgia, is there anything else you'd like to say to the Bioeconomy Forum global audience?
Well, I hope I expressed lots of excitement and enthusiasm.
You certainly
did. And we're really excited to have this opportunity to engage with all of you on this topic, both here at the White House as well as the Department of State. We're really thrilled to hear from you, hear ideas on how we can engage more, what might be opportunities to discuss about certain topics or collaborate on certain programs. And also, I think this is a moment to elevate, for us in the United States, this is a moment to elevate the power of biotechnology in sectors not just traditionally health. And we think this is such an opportune moment with thinking about some of our climate and energy goals. And so for us, that is a driving piece. And so we're really excited to collaborate with all of you on things moving forward.
That's fantastic. I've been a great open interview. Really enjoyed speaking to you about everything. And this is about the world. This is about climate change. It's about everything. It's not necessarily about a nation. It's about the whole world. So it's absolutely wonderful to hear that you're open to all this collaboration and all of those things. So it's been a delight to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.